The Florida State Seminoles are led by the winningest football coach in major college football history. Bobby Bowden's total now stands at 340 and counting. But a heartbreaking loss last week at Clemson dampened their national championship aspirations. And now the 13th ranked Seminoles and quarterback Chris Ricks hope to rebound strong in their homecoming finale. 2 years ago, North Carolina State knocked off the Noles here in Tallahassee. Then they did it again last year in Raleigh. This time around, Heisman candidate Philip Rivers has directed the Wolfpack to 4 straight wins and has them thinking upset once more. The Wolfpack, the Seminoles, for the ACC title in a BCS Bowl spot. Next on ABC. The Florida State Seminoles, the defending ACC champions. A record of 8-2, 6-1 in the conference, and ranked 13th in the BCS. The setting is perfect for a big-time college football weekend. Tallahassee, Florida, sun-drenched and warm for this ACC matchup between the Wolfpack and the Seminoles. And Tim Brandt and Ed Cunningham, it's always good to see the locker room stuff. And when you think about those 2 wins that he was talking about, NC State dominated the clock. They dominated time of possession, and they did it with Philip Rivers.
A lot of times you would think because they throw it so much, they wouldn't be able to control the clock. But Rivers is so efficient with the ball. He throws so few incompletions. 2 weeks ago in their last ball game against UVA, he was on fire. Started the game 17 for 17. He moves in the pocket. They can throw it deep and underneath. And Rivers told us yesterday, we finally have our second dimension back. That's T.A. McClendon. Craig James just alluded to him as maybe the best back in the country when he's healthy. Well, he is healthy today, and Florida State is going to be tested in the run and the pass. And for Florida State, it is always about how well their quarterback, Chris Ricks, plays. In wins, he has been great. He is one of the most talented quarterbacks when he's on in the country. In losses, the problem, as usual, is turnovers. He had 3 last week against Clemson, 4 in the loss against Miami. He throws a great deep ball, and he'll get his chance against an aggressive NC State secondary today.
The third member of our broadcast team here is Sam Ryan, and right now she's with Bobby Bowden.
All right, Timmy, thanks a lot. Bobby, when one thinks of Florida State and rivalries, one thinks of Florida and Miami. This NC State team here today, how much of a rivalry is this becoming?
Well, you know, when you're beating people all the time, you don't get a rivalry. But this team has beaten us 2 of the last 2 years, 3 of the last 6. Now, that starts a rivalry, you know? So I think it's the first real rivalry in the ACC between Florida State and somebody.
A big one today. Good luck, Bobby.
Thank you very much.
Take a look at the Atlantic Coast Conference standings, the top 3. That's what's critical. Florida State wins, though. It's over. Florida State, the defending champion, wins it again outright here. But then things get a little bit dicey if NC State wins. Ed, take a look at this.
Well, if NC State wins, they'll share the ACC Championship. But they have to be 5 spaces or closer to Florida State in the final BCS standings. Now everything gets really interesting for Maryland because they won against Virginia. If they beat NC State next week and then on the road against Wake Forest, they're co-champions. And because they lost head-to-head, they'll have to finish 5 spaces above Florida State. We'll go through this a couple of times during the game. I'm still a little confused, Tim.
All right, Chuck Amato is in his 4th year at NC State. He is 33-15 there. 18 years at Florida State, so he feels, I don't know what he feels today. It's got to be different. But he won more games last year in 1 season than any coach in more than 100 years of football at NC State. Bobby Bowden, he's a legend in his 28th year at Florida State, 38th overall, 73 years old, not slowing down, the winningest coach in Division 1A college football. 14 Deraney will kick off, and you'll see 3 different kickers today for NC State with Austin Herbert and Adam Kiker and Deraney. And this man's dangerous, Antonio Cromartie. He's returned 18 of them. He averages 23 yards on kickoff returns.
And he's a true freshman with good size, 6'3", 200 pounds.
Florida State's loaded with return guys. When you think of Leon Washington and his punt returns and Cromartie with his kickoff returns, and don't forget Thorpe Davis and Robinson. This will go deep into the end zone for a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where we'll start the game. And we'll get our first look at the 6'4" junior with over 6,000 career passing yards here in Tallahassee.
Chris Ricks, quarterback, Santa Margarita Catholic High School, Santa Margarita, California.
2 years ago, he was not only the ACC Rookie of the Year, but he also led the league in passing efficiency. a terrific talent, but he needs to be more consistent. Bobby Bowden would love to see more consistency out of him, coming off a shaky performance last week against Clemson. First down and 10. Florida State. NC State shows blitz. Everybody up by the line of scrimmage. They're crouching and cheating everywhere. It's man coverage. Ricks has time. He's going deep. This ball was almost caught by Thorpe, but he couldn't hold on in double coverage. Principal Financial Group starting lineups, backs and receivers. I'll take you all the way over to the right. Greg Jones is he's a load at 255 pounds. He's a workhorse and a clock eater. Working back, B.J. Dean is out with injury, and Coleman gets the start. Rafonso Thorpe is the leading receiver, and that he was the intended receiver there. He can flat out fly. Very talented, skilled guys. P.K. Sam, second leading receiver. The offensive line is big and strong. Everybody over 300 pounds except Meinrod, who is 295. The O-line took a lot of heat after the loss to Clemson. Second down and 7. They throw the little swing pass. This is complete as they move it out to Coleman. And Coleman has a first down. He's up to the 44-yard line. A gain of 14, and Florida State is on the move. Defensively for NC State, the Wolfpack has to take it up a notch. They're just, well, their job is to make stops and give the ball back to Rivers. Williams, Herndon, McCargo, and Holloway across the front. Williams, the freshman, really special. Linebackers are solid. Autry Lindsey, a versatile guy. Hoyt and Thomas, they're all 225, 230. And in the secondary, Reed is a solid cover guy. Golden is a former tailback. Maddox and Graham, the safeties. Ricks looks comfortable today, always confident. Now he's going to check off and change the play. Yeah, play clock down to 4.
9 guys in the box.
This is Washington, who stutter steps and gets outside. He's got a first down, and all the way down to the 40 before Troy Graham can make the tackle. A pickup of 16. So Florida State picking them up in chunks. And this is what Chuck Amato told his team in the locker room. You're going to take a shot in the mouth. You're going to face some adversity. You have to withstand it. First down in the red zone for Ricks. They have been lethal in the red zone. Here's Jones. Jones is a load, 255 pounds, all-conference running back. He gets plenty of yards after contact and pushes the pile down to the 11, or down to the 6, correction.
Well, Greg Jones at 255 pounds. And I'm going to say about 6 or 7 pounds of that is fat. I mean, he is just a rock. He's a little bit stiff, and he got a little stiffer, obviously, with the blown knee he had last year. But he gets his pads down, and after contact with 3 guys on him, Thomas, Maddox, and Graham, he still picks up 2 or 3 extra yards.
Well, through 10 games, the Seminoles average only 122 yards rushing per game, ranks 8th in the conference, but they're running effectively here. Jones around the corner, still on his feet, no signal yet. Did he step out just before the end zone? Touchdown, Florida State.
Well, the official on the pylon got pile driven almost into the stands. So they had to wait for him to gather himself and see if it was in fact a touchdown. Watch as Jones gets to the corner. This is a nice job of staying in bounds. Good block by the fullback. As the official there was going down, he was signaling touchdown.
Xavier Becchia's extra point attempt is good. What an impressive drive by the defending ACC champions. Florida State dominant with the run, just bullying their way down. Greg Jones with a 6-yard touchdown. Florida State leads it 7-0. Xavier Becchia gets ready to kick off. He just added the extra point. This is a high kick that can be returned by Lamont Reed. This is Reed at the 1. Gets to the 15, and a flag comes in.
And this is not, you know, he talked about trying to keep this crowd out. You get backed up into the bowl.
Rivers on first down. To T.A. McClendon, who's got a hole and busted out across the 20 and move the chains. First down State. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam Ryan.
Well, Tim, in his first 2 seasons, T.A. McClendon has spent more time in the training room than any other NC State player. Last year, he fractured his right wrist in the UMass game, had a screw inserted, Then he played the rest of the season with a cast on, had a bone graft in March. This season he missed the Wake Sparks game with a knee injury. A hammy kept him out against UNC, Georgia Tech. He tore his meniscus then in the Clemson game, had 2 surgeries. Now this week he battled the flu Monday through Wednesday. They say he's fine now, guys.
Talked to him yesterday, Sam. He looked fine. He was smiling. He was happy, and he just picked up 14 yards. Rivers being chased. Looks deep. Has it complete. And Clark pulls it down at the 46-yard line. So Brian Clark makes his 26th reception of the year and picks up 32.
Clark does a great job of staying alive on this. He's running a backside post. Rivers is looking for him and moves. He's so good in the pocket. He just moves so well. And Clark just stayed alive and really, really made a nice catch. And the trailing defender, Stanford Samuels, he just let him get by him and let him keep running and running and never made up the cushion.
So T.A. McClendon picks up 14, then Rivers hits Clark for another 32, and now NC State's on the move. Here's the out pattern to Williams. T.J. Williams down inside the 25. T.J. Williams, the young sophomore, big target at 6'4", his 23rd reception of the year, and picks up 23.
And this is what you look for in a big athlete, what kind of hands he has. Watch him turn his hands over, left over right, instead of trying to cradle it. There's not many receivers that can catch a ball like that when they're running. What a nice grab by Williams.
He played in all games last year as a true freshman. Actually started the Florida State game and had his best performance.
Had a 75-yard touchdown 2 weeks ago against Virginia. That big touchdown against Ohio State to send it into overtime.
First down for Rivers. McClendon with a hole. Look for a block, and it may have cost him. He picks up 5. Backs and receivers. Financial Group starting lineups. Folks, keep an eye on number 44, T.A. McClendon. He's healthy again. He went over 100 yards rushing and receiving each last week. He will be the focal point again today as he was on that play. The offensive line averaging 6'4", 300 pounds. Locklear moves to left tackle. Harris, Polson, Fowler, and Morris, your starting line. Here's a strike by Rivers to Cotry, and Cotry's in for an NC State touchdown. What a catch by Cotry. What a throw by Rivers. A 17-yard strike.
Yeah, if you don't think Phillip Rivers is going to be an NFL quarterback, you need to check yourself. I don't care how ugly his delivery is. I don't care. Watch. And you've got to realize this is just a whip route. We fake the in, you go out, and Boulware has absolutely perfect coverage. I mean, if you're Boulware, you cannot cover that any better. And Rivers was getting hammered by Eric Moore right as he released that ball.
I think his throwing motion's not ugly. I think it looks a lot like Marino's. It's unorthodox, certainly, but very, very effective. Anybody can complete 72% of your passes.
I don't care what it looks like. He is unbelievable.
Adam Kiker adds the extra point, and we're tied at 7. 4:25 to play in the first quarter, and as we expected, it's a good ball game. Rivers got drilled, but he still threw a strike. There's your battery, 17-87 for the touchdown. And well, actually, Clark made the big play. Cotry made the touchdown
on the continued post, and Cotry ran the whip route. And Michael Boulware, you can't cover it any better. And boy, did Rivers fit that thing in.
John Delaney has it teed up. We're ready to go. Delaney's kick is a line drive that'll go to the back of the end zone. Antonio Cromartie will take it there and down it for the touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20. First down, Florida State. Lorenzo Booker in the ball game now as Ricks goes deep. Looks for PK Sam, and it's almost intercepted. Boy, Greg Golden had good field position and was trying to make the catch over his head.
You know, Ricks takes a lot of heat. And he has been very inconsistent, but in watching PK Sam trying to get back to the inside, they're not running a true takeoff, but that is just great coverage by Golden. And that's sometimes Ricks. You know, Tim, sometimes you think maybe he has too much talent, because that ball, you don't make that throw. If you see Golden turning and bailing and staying on top of it, if anything, underthrow it so that Sam can come back and make a play on it.
Second down at 10, 3-step drop before the slant. He's got Thorpe. Thorpe's loose. He's got speed, and he's across midfield to the 47-yard line. Crefonzo Thorpe, track guy, ACC champion. And I mean, he picks up 33 in a heartbeat.
And this is where Chris Ricks is at his best. No thinking. Ready? Lamont Reed thinks he has inside help. He does not. Bam. The safety Graham was coming over late, over the top. A missed call in the secondary for NC State. But there's our first Maryland pop.
Here's Ricks with the throwback. It's intercepted. Picked off by Holloway. Still on his feet at the 10, the 5. Look at the athletic ability by the big guy.
What a cutback.
6'2", 285 senior. There is a flag.
I think they might have got NC State for being in the neutral zone. Boy, this is going to be a huge, huge mistake.
A 43-yard return by Holloway. You can't take that away from him even if there is a flag.
We have an illegal formation, less than 7 players on the line of the offense. That penalty is automatically declined. Touchdown.
And so it's against Florida State. And the big guy's touchdown stands out of Nassau Community College. Played defensive tackle earlier. He moved the defensive end. He gets the pick here, and the Cliffwood Beach, New Jersey native has a touchdown.
And this crowd wants Fabian Walker in the game. They are tired of seeing Chris Ricks throw it to the other team.
And the extra point is good. So Adam Kiker adds the extra point. And how about this? 14-7, NC State trying to win for the 3rd straight time over the Seminoles.
Hey, Jay, all day, baby. We ain't done yet. We got plenty more in store for y'all. Hold on, baby. Hold on, baby.
Deep touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20. First down for Ricks. They run the ball. And Jones pulls over some tacklers and is out to the 39-yard line. First down, Greg Jones. First down, 19 on the run. Time has expired in the first period. Well, Florida State and Greg Jones scored first. But Rivers brought him right back. Cotry with a touchdown catch, then Holloway with the interception return for a touchdown, and it's 14-7, NC State. Ready to start the second 15 in Tallahassee, Florida. NC State leading the defending ACC champions 14-7. Ball at the 34, first down and 10 for the Noles.
Leon Washington back in at running back. Greg Jones was in there. He's more of the speed guy. Wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to get on the edge a little bit. But don't forget, NC State, Chuck Amato deciding he's going to load the box, play all one-on-one coverage. And right now, Cafonzo Thorpe, the fastest guy in the ACC, standing out there all by himself against a freshman, A.J. Davis.
Well, in the quarterback battle today between Phillip Rivers and Chris Ricks, Rivers having the best of them. Let's see if Ricks can get something going. First down, out of the eye. Thorpe at the bottom of your screen.
Would not be surprised if Ricks is looking down at Thorpe, working one-on-one against the freshman.
Play clock down to 4. Straight ahead they go, not much there. A loss of a yard. Tackle made by John McCargo. Well, the Aflac question of the day: who holds the NC State single-season record for tackles? That's your trivia question.
Well, I'm not going to give hints because we're actually going to go to the phones.
That's a great idea.
If anybody knows, we'll go to the phones in a little bit.
Rather than unveiling the question or the answer as we always do, we'll solicit phone calls. See if anybody knows. Second down and 12 for Florida State. Again to give straight ahead. Jones has a big hole inside the 30. Down to the 26. Not enough for the first, but it'll bring up third down and short.
Defensive line for NC State moving around a little bit. They've got a lot of youngsters in there. No senior starters on the defensive front for Joe Pate, the defensive line coach, and Chuck Amato, who's basically his own coordinator. That time they're slanting towards the formation to the left, and Florida State doing a nice job of getting a hat on a hat, and Jones cutting it back against the grain.
Brings up third down and a short 3. NC State has won the last 2 between these 2 clubs, 3 of the last 5. This pass incomplete to PK Sam. Looked like he had a step.
Well, and this is a bad throw.
So Xavier Bethia comes on for the field goal attempt.
This is an automatic first down. If Ricks puts this on the inside hip of PK Sam, he's just running a slant. And he did have position, and that ball floated. And everybody who saw that Clemson game, Ricks was just off. He's thrown a couple of good balls today, but still doesn't look like his accuracy is there.
Well within Bethia's range. This is a 36-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold. Kick is away, there's plenty of distance, and it's good. So with 8:28 to play in the half, it's NC State 14 and the Seminoles of Florida State 10. Here's your Aflac trivia question we asked a little while ago. Who holds the NC State single-season record for tackles? So we're going to go to the phones. Bill from Pittsburgh's on the line. Bill, you there?
Absolutely, I'm here, Tim. It has to be Bill Cowher.
And Bill Cowher is with us. 1978, 195 tackles.
Coach, Chuck Amato was your position coach while you're at NC State, and you know he's got that scratchy voice now. Was that because he had to yell at you all the time?
Yeah, he spent enough time hollering at me, that's for sure. But you know what, Coach was he was a big part of my career as a linebacker, and you know there's no way I would have enjoyed the success that I had or even our team had. He was very instrumental in that, and it's just great to see him come back and bring the Wolfpack back.
You've got to be proud of what they're doing. Absolutely, he's brought them back, and now they're contenders. And as you know, the scenario here is if they beat Florida State today and win out, they can win a share of the ACC Championship.
Well, there's no question. When you look at Phillips Rivers and his career down there, and then when Coach Amato has come back and how he's methodically brought it back, and when you look at the facilities right now down there, Tim, I mean, they've done a lot, and there's no question. It's one of the top schools in the ACC in terms of football, and you know, I think when you see all the realignment that's going to be taking place right now, it's just great to see that NC State is in the forefront in football.
Well, Bill, for all of us that played in this conference in the ACC, we're all very proud of you, and good luck Monday night.
I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you. Go Wolfpack.
There you go. Bill Cowher. We'll be watching with John and Al. Monday Night Football right here on ABC Monday night. What a great guy.
You know, there's kind of some talk going around that they're going to let this guy let him go.
Look at this. Screech.
He does look like Screech from Saved by the Bell, doesn't it?
Bill Cowher.
195 tackles as a senior, 177 as a junior. You wonder if he was the only guy on defense.
Oh, he was tenacious.
Ooh, he was good.
No question about it.
But I'll tell you right now, it would be the biggest mistake in the world, no matter what happens this year. All of the things, Joey Porter getting shot early on, all the things that they've done to be back in the hunt. If you ever think of getting rid of Bill Cowher as your head coach, it's going to be a huge mistake.
Out of the gun. McClendon again. And McClendon's across the 30. Sat down, had a nice chat yesterday with head coach Chuck Amato and asked him, Chuck, how do you beat Florida State again?
We've got to keep the fans out of it. We've got to take those big plays, those big things that just ignite that stadium. You know, a long touchdown pass or a long touchdown run, a long kickoff return or a blocked punt for a touchdown or an intercepted pass for a touchdown. That will ignite that stadium. If that happens a couple times, it will be a 10-alarm fire. There won't be enough fire engines this time to put it out.
Right now, the fans sitting on their hands. Some of them come to life because they know it's a big 3rd down and 2 for NC State. Play action for Rivers. Again, there's pressure. Steps up and throws. Has it complete. This is Clark, and Brian Clark's down inside the 25, down to the 18. A gain of 40 yards after they punted it away. The penalty, Boulware has to make the stop and save a touchdown.
You know, Philip Rivers, you mentioned his throwing motion reminds you of Dan Marino.
Yep.
You know what he does, I think, just like Dan Marino, is work the pocket. Watch the pocket collapse. This is good pressure. Just sidesteps it, buys himself enough time to find Clark, knowing that that's going to come open late. He doesn't get crazy and run around. He just moves slightly. See the field, feel the pocket.
Wolfpack in the red zone. T.A. McClendon inside the 10. go downstairs to Sam Ryan. Sam?
Well, Timmy, Philip Rivers has been on Florida State's radar screen for quite a while. When he was in 10th grade, he attended the Bowden Academy in Athens, Alabama, a summer camp for quarterbacks and receivers. Now, Bobby Bowden told me at the time Philip was, quote, a big old gawky kid whose delivery didn't impress us, but Bobby now compares Philip to Danny Werfel. He says he's intelligent, goes the right places with the ball. Bobby said, flip a coin, they are the same guy. He said they are the two smartest quarterbacks he's seen in college.
Well, you know, the Bowden Academy, Sam, has had some of the all-time great quarterbacks, including Peyton Manning. And at the time that Philip was there, he was only 15 years old and was a gawky kid and was not being recruited yet.
You can take a shot here. Second and short.
Out of the gun, Rivers. Tucks it, throws it, has it complete. Cotchery, touchdown, no. Ball's loose. The signal is that he had possession when he crossed the goal line. And the field judge is standing at the goal line at the hash mark with his arms up. Touchdown, NC State.
Frank Overcash, the field judge, right from Jump Street. As soon as Cotchery, once again, just working the pocket. As soon as Cotchery stretches out.
Boy, I don't know.
That's tough to tell from that angle.
The drive started on their own 10-yard line, and Rivers was masterful. They missed the extra point. It's 20-10, so the lead is 10 with 2:08 to play in the first half. Rainey's kick is a short kick. Leon Washington will have a chance to return this. Correction, that's Antonio Cromartie. He's loose and out across the 35, and once again Florida State will have great field position. A return of 36 yards. Out of the gun, Ricks with time and overthrows his receiver intended for Will Reed.
Well, and here come the boos, because there has been talk upon talk
and signs,
on printed word, upon painted signs at the apartments
and
next
by the
door.
practice field.
Voicing their opinion that they want Fabian Walker to get a shot. And even though Fabian, he got a little bit of a shot last week against Clemson, and Bobby said it was his job to win. He threw 3 or 4 balls in the dirt when guys were open, but he does not turn the ball over.
PK Sam can't hold on, incomplete. Good coverage.
He's off. Chris Ricks is in his head.
Victor Stevens had great coverage and perfect timing.
This is not a hard throw. It's called the first window slant. You can throw it before the linebacker or after the linebacker. The second window is tougher to throw through. That's a first window slant. It's thrown high and behind the receiver so the defender can make a play on it. Chris Ricks, he's just thinking way too much.
Reminder coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John, Terry, and Craig discuss the possibilities of TCU in a BCS game, plus all the highlights and analysis. Stein with a high punt. Tremaine Hall will fair catch this. No, he'll take it all the way back at the 10 and look for blockers and lose his yardage. Should have fair caught it. 49-yard punt and a loss of 2. Antonio Cromartie was there in a hurry.
And now Florida State can play a little field position. They've got 3 timeouts. NC State has to pick up a first down to be able to run out the clock in the first half.
Well, Steele told you to watch out for the trap, the draw, or the screen.
I think a screen to the trip side wouldn't be a bad call here.
They still need 9 on 3rd down. State drops back. Swarm, look for T.A. McClendon and get him. Ball's loose. Seminoles have it. Inside the 5. Doak Campbell is alive.
T.A. McClendon, he's so good after the run. We showed you his yards after contact. Boulware gets out there, does a really nice job, and he just lost it. It did not look like Jerome Carter hit the ball. As he spun around, he just lost it in that left hand.
And Florida State's been lethal in the red zone. Out of the gun, 2nd and goal, 28 seconds. Rick steps up, throws, DeFonzo Thorpe, touchdown Florida State. Chris Ricks put that one on a rope.
Yes, he did.
And threw a strike. Nobody will question his talent.
Oh, no, and I've said it several times today already. It almost has too much talent. You know, he relies on it, talking about Chris Ricks. He relies on it so heavily and sometimes thinks he can get balls in places that nobody could fit it in.
Xavier Bayfield with his extra point. And now it is 20-17.
No harm, no foul. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Boy, that's strange. You look at the body position of Lamont Reed, and he's squatting on the outside. He must have thought Graham, the safety, was going to come over and give help on the short post.
Entertaining first half, a little bit of everything. We promised you that at the outset, and we certainly got it here in the first 30 minutes. NC State 20, Florida State 17. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam.
All right, thanks, Tim. Bobby, a huge play by your defense. You guys are right back in this one. Now, what do you tell them inside to keep up this intensity? Well,
we got 30 more minutes to decide the conference championship, you know, and so we got plenty to fight for. We must execute better. You know, they picked off that pass, ran for a touchdown, really helped build up their momentum, and we must eliminate that. Now, the fans are telling you what they want you to do. Is Chris Ricks your guy for the second half? Well, we'll decide inside. You know, we just threw a touchdown pass, and we'll have to go inside and look and see what we think. Okay, thank you. We're sitting ready with the other guy just in case. All right, thank you.
You gotta love it.
He's the best.
He is.
So honest.
He's not gonna listen to the fans, but he'll tell you Fabian Walker's gonna play.
He will not give you coach speak, even at 74 years old.
Great first half. We'll have the halftime activities in the second half, but first we'll take you back to New York after these commercials. As the sun sets in Tallahassee, this game is just beginning. I mean, we have another 30 minutes of football. It's a three-point game, and either one of these teams could win a share of the ACC title. Florida State has already won a share. They're trying to win it outright. NC State with a win today, win out. They get a share of the ACC title as well. A lot of ball game yet to be played.
Well, and you've got to feel, if you're NC State, it almost feels like you're a little bit behind because of what happened to McClendon fumbles. Ricks hits Kerfonso Thorpe. But they are ahead, and it's 2 in a row. They've beaten them. One time, 2001 here. They're the ones with all the confidence, but they've got to get a little of that momentum back.
And to put an exclamation point to that, Chris Ricks, the quarterback at Florida State's got to feel a little bit wobbly, though he ended the first half with a touchdown pass, while Phillip Rivers has just been in rhythm the entire game, and he's got T.A. McClendon try to take some of the pressure off of him as well. This is a high kick that'll sail back into the end zone. It'll be down for a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20. And so that's where Florida State will have the ball first. Richard Washington checks in for NC State. They throw a little swing pass to T.A. McClendon, and he drops it. Normally a fine receiver out of the backfield. He's had a little shaky hands here. 0 catches today. He had that fumble before half and drops one here.
Well, you know, Sam did that story earlier on all of the injuries that T.A. McClendon has had, and he had that wrist surgery last year. You never quite get the flexion back in your wrist when you break a bone in it because you just don't get the blood flow necessary to heal all of those bones. And he does have trouble sometimes turning his hand a certain way.
Don't forget, though, last week he had over 100 yards rushing and over 100 yards receiving in the win over, or he did against the win over Virginia. Swing pass complete. T.J. Williams puts it on the ground. Florida State has it, and Brown takes it back to the 33-yard line. So another turnover for NC State, and a return of 17 by Rufus Brown.
And Leroy Smith doing a great job coming up from his cornerback spot late. Excuse me, that's Nicholson, the linebacker, coming inside out. The second guy towards the pile. It was Smith who had him tackled, pulling him down from behind, and Nicholson doing a really nice job. Good call by the line judge, too. Williams' knee was not on the ground when he fumbled this ball. Good.
Oh, not even close.
No, it was good. Good job by the official to see that that was, in fact, a fumble.
How about the athleticism of Brown to get over and scoop and try to score?
Yeah, they've got a couple of those guys here at Florida State, don't they?
Yes, they do. First down, Jones, left side, breaks the tackle inside the 15.
He's got that little ability. Good job of holding on to the ball.
Boom,
oh, yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Good effort, though. Hey, make him blow the whistle.
Second down and 7. So Ricks is probably going to have to throw. Does. Looks to the end zone. The pass. Incomplete. Almost a spectacular catch by Chauncey Stovall, who had one hand on it and tried to pull it in.
Stovall, a junior college transfer who redshirted last year, had a spectacular game last week against Clemson, especially in the second half. That's a nice play on
Almost
the ball.
had it.
Yeah, he sure did. Greg Golden, again, has great position. Golden doing a nice job of staying, knowing he has help underneath, of staying behind and making it very difficult for Stovall to make a play on that ball.
Let's see if that penalty now cost him, because it's 3rd down and 12.
Go back to it.
No blitz. This is Washington. Gets to the corner. Inside the 10.
Go for it. Go for it. He slipped and didn't quite get there. Why not? Get the momentum completely on your sidelines right now if you're Florida State.
Boy, if you don't get it, though, the momentum goes right back to the guys from Raleigh.
7 of those 20 points for NC State were from an interception return. Your defense has played fairly well against the very hot Phillip Rivers. And if he doesn't slip, he picks it up, and here comes Bates. I understand the thinking of Bobby. Get the 3 points.
Sure, you're playing
get the
at home.
score.
You're playing at home.
Well, but you can flip that argument and say you're playing at home. You can go for it and try to defend the long field if you don't get it, too. Manny Lawson, 6'5" linebacker, ready to take a leap at it.
Plenty long enough. And we're tied. .9:22 to play in the 3rd period, and we are deadlocked. NC State trying to get a share of the ACC title, and Florida State, the defending champs, don't want to relinquish it. Xavier Graitia teased it up, and we're ready to get serious in this game. Lamont Reed, Tremaine Hall standing back inside the 5.
NC State needs to get serious. They've not done very well in their last few drives. They have to get something going.
This would be Lamont Reed at the 5. Reed's got a hold. He's still on his feet. Across the 30. Cuts back in and is up to the 45-yard line. A terrific return by Lamont Reed. 41 yards.
That's defense. The defense and special teams for Jim Tressel for 2 years now have won game after game, or at least kept them in game after game with the play against Purdue.
John losing his voice. Rivers going deep. He's got a man deep, but the ball gets there. Inside the 20 to the 15 goes Jericho Cotchery. His 4th catch, and a big gainer for the Wolfpack.
Well, whenever a strong safety walks over and has to cover, Jericho Cotchery. And that's just tough duty. Kyler Hall, who's a backup strong safety, that's what you're looking for. That's asking an awful lot to walk out a guy who's usually a run support type guy to go out and try to cover one of the best receivers in the ACC.
Well, the inside receiver is always the most dangerous. He's got the most field to work with. Jericho just ran by him, a gain of 41. 1st and goal. Rivers will run it. Get down to the 2. Allen Augustin made the stop. Makes great decisions, I'll tell you that.
You know, the story Sam was telling earlier about the camp, the Bowden quarterback and receiver camp that Phillip Rivers went to. And we were talking to Bobby Bowden about Phillip, and he said, you know, I don't feel bad for missing on this guy because Alabama, Auburn, all of those schools missed on Phillip as well. Well, they didn't miss, but they wanted Phillip to come play tight end or safety. And he
wasn't developed yet to that point.
No, but he's such a better athlete than some people give him credit for.
6'5", 236-pound senior Phillip Rivers. Here's McClendon. He gets through with a first down to the 1. He was flying into that hole.
Play action. Let Rivers move out of the pocket, bring 2 or 3 receivers and drag. As tough as this guy is, the middle of that defense for Florida State, Kendall Pope doing a nice job. I would want the ball in my senior's hands on this play, Phillip Rivers.
Crowd on their feet. 3rd down at the 1. McClendon not going to get there. Was he down? Phillip Rivers said he crossed the line, broke the plane. They mark it outside the 1.
And I know T.A. McClendon is an awfully special player, and it's very intriguing to think the ball in his hands inside the 1 we're going to score. But this defensive front for Florida State has had such great penetration the entire game. I think you just have to move Rivers out of the pocket there.
This will be a 20-yard attempt. Adam Kiker gives him the lead.
You got to come away with 7, though, Tim. On the road, 5:18 left in the 3rd. The senior quarterback. It's tough to take the 3.
Playing for the title. NC State 23, Florida State 20. We'll be back. .5:18 to play in the 3rd. It's a 3-point game. Chevrolet drive summary. 8 plays, 55 yards. Took 3:51 off the clock. Adam Kiker with the 20-yard field goal to give the Wolfpack the lead.
5:18 left in the 3rd quarter. Let's put a little bookmark next to trading a 7 for a 3.
You didn't like that call?
I just think with a senior quarterback. I mean, listen, McClendon is so spectacular. It's just so hard to get pushed down on that goal line with these athletes against Florida State.
Cromartie takes this one 5 yards deep. Thinks about it, now takes a knee.
Well, that's the 5th Maryland pop, although contractually you had to do that one.
Here's Ricks to Sam. PK Sam tries to put on the move, and he's out to the 29. That's PK Sam's first catch of the game, so that's 42 for the season. He caught 9 passes against Miami. That's his first catch here tonight.
A little miscommunication earlier in the game where Ricks thought Sam was supposed to be running a corner. And you go back to the Clemson game, Sam seemed to be the guy, and it's so hard, you know, as an outsider you sit and you critique Ricks and you say, oh, he was off here, he was off there, but like Bobby was saying during our meetings this week, you know, guys, a lot of times the receivers aren't running the routes to the spots they're supposed to be running them either, so there is a combination of things going on.
2nd down and 1. This is Booker, gets around the corner, he's got speed, tries to split the safety in the corner, still on his feet and gets a blocker. He's gone. They won't catch him. Inside the 10 to the corner. Touchdown, Florida State. 71 yards, Lorenzo Booker.
Well, you can see why that young man was so highly recruited out of California 2 years ago. He's got himself a little bit of open field presence, doesn't he?
He's got a burst.
Great vision, too. He set up Thorpe for a block down the field and cut all the way back across.
Great view here at Xavier Bakia's extra point. Splits the sticks. And Florida State has the lead. 27-23 with 4:18 to play in the 3rd period.
You get everybody up into the box. 8, 9 guys. Look how many bodies are within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage with no safety over the top. As soon as Booker gets to the 2nd level, Graham, the free safety, gets caught inside. A really nice cut block. And Thorpe working down the field, chasing from behind, throws a block there. But that's the vision. The head on the swivel, seeing everybody. He had to run, what, about 160 yards for that 71-yard touchdown?
And both of these units know what they're playing for.
Yeah,
look at that. Total yardage, 256 each.
Once again, I think our statistician, John Madry, might be playing with a funky pencil over there.
Onside kick. And very alertly, NC State gets it. So now the Wolfpack will have good field position after a gambling onside kick with 4:16 to play in the third.
Not quite. This is just a little bump kit. You want this to go about 11 yards. You get the guys around the kicker to knock away the white shirts. It went too far.
We have illegal touching at the spot of the beanbag. 1st and 10.
Going back to the 70s with beanbags. But that was just, Batesy, you have to practice that so many times. You want this ball to die at 11 yards.
Once that ball goes 10 yards, that's a free ball.
I don't think that was illegal touch, and that was Anthony Breadwood that the ball hit. But I agree, it hit before 10 yards, but NC State recovered it either way.
Best starting field position. Rivers throws a little swing, and there's another one that TA can't hold on to. He's getting a little frustrated now.
Missed a lot of practice time. Had 2 surgeries on that knee after locked up against Clemson. Rested quite a bit during their bye week last week. Sometimes a little bit out of sync. That time Rivers let him just a skosh too much.
Got the tomahawk chop. The crowd's back in it. Rivers throws the little swing pass. They've got room. Inside the 30. And Tremaine Hall all the way down to the 15. Actually, they'll mark him at the 25, so it's a 26-yard pickup.
This ends up being a swing screen to Tremaine Hall. Hall, a guy, they list him as an H-back. He lines up everywhere. Receiver, slot, he can get outside. He's got the speed. This time he's just going to duck out into a little bitty screen. The offensive line releases, and it was a blitz. Cotry doing a great job on Stanford Samuels. We've now seen 2 wide receivers working really hard downfield. And there's some of that Florida speed that Chuck Amato is starting to import up to North Carolina.
Both of these offenses now working fairly effectively. But Rivers needs a touchdown. McClendon, good balance, and TA's inside the 20. So he picks up 7. They need 3 on 2nd down. They run a reverse with Cotry. He's got the 1st down, tries to get the corner. He's inside the 10. Jericho Cotry, who's having a huge game, picks up 12 yards there. Finally run out of bounds by Carter. But he turned the corner, got the 1st, and now they're back in business inside the 10.
And Jerome Carter, the rover, got caught inside. He was thinking again with number 44 in there, all of those eyes inside. Here he is over the top. You can see his eyes into the backfield, and he hesitated for a half a second, and that was enough for Cotry to get the edge.
You're saying down in the red zone, they better look for the pylon, not go straight up the middle. If they're not throwing, get to the corners. Rivers is throwing. Still on his feet. Thrown away, and he does. Nobody open. I don't know how he got out of there. It looked like he was going to be sacked, and then he got outside the tackle box, went to the sidelines, and threw it away. But a smart play, good play by Phillip Rivers.
He is so hard to bring down. You know what? About 4 or 5 weeks ago, sat down with him, and he was in shorts. I was amazed how much weight he carries in his lower body. It's thick in his thighs, all through his hips. So hard to bring down around his lower body.
Eric Moore surprised too because he had an arm around him. 2nd down and goal. Inside the 5, Rivers, touchdown NC State. Phillip Rivers from 6 yards out.
Dick Corti, the running back coach, liking the call because who's the decoy? Number 44, the guy he coaches. Makes a handoff underneath. Defense says, well, we better go tackle 44, and then 17 comes squirting out the other side.
Folks, he's the only quarterback in the nation to rank in the top 5 in every passing category, and he also can run. He is smart, he's competitive, he's a leader. Kiker adds the extra point. And it's 30-27 NC State.
And it just breaks Chuck Amato's heart that they had the 1 and 2 start and then the 3 and 3 start. Almost got a big one up at Ohio State. If they get that, you've got to think he's in the mix for the Heisman.
I still say, and I explained this last week, Jason White, I think, is going to win it. Not that he's the best player in the country.
So eloquently, too.
Well, he's on the #1 team in the nation. The last 3 winners have been quarterbacks. The last 4 winners have been on BCS teams. He's all of those. Jason White's one of the great stories in college football because of his knees. The offense lends itself to big plays and a lot of scoring, which gets you on ESPN and national. They're #1 in getting all that TV exposure. So with all that, the formula leads you on the #1 team in the nation to the Heisman. But he's not necessarily the best player in the country.
Well, and it's the most outstanding player.
Look at Cromartie with a big return. He's still on his feet. Cromartie across the 40, out to the 45-yard line, and they're going to tackle him more. Face mask. Antonio Cromartie with a big return, 45 yards. This has become a game of big plays. Now the Wolfpack defense has to bow its back. And how about this? Phillip Rivers getting his right hand worked on.
He could lose a thumb and come out and try to throw it. The way he throws it, you know, he kind of has that, sits that ball right on his hand. I don't even know if he needs his thumb.
We need to get Sam Ryan to check on that.
He's just got a little boo-boo.
I see Sam running over there, though. She's throwing some pretty good
shoes on.
She's got some pretty good speed. Here's Ricks. He's got some company and throws it away very wisely. Smart play by Ricks.
You know, sometimes it helps a guy like Chris Ricks. Just a junior, he's played so much football because he had to start as a redshirt freshman, which is very unusual for Bobby. He usually doesn't like to start quarterbacks until they're at least fourth-year juniors. But it's a good education process for him. After you make all of your adjustments on the sideline, go up and watch Phillip Rivers operate. If you want to see a guy who controls the ball, gets rid of it when he has to, is no better than Phillip Rivers. 2nd down and 10 for Ricks and the Seminoles. This is Sam. PK Sam inside the 30, down to the 26. Ricks on 1st down. Gives it to Washington, and Washington still on his feet to the 15-yard line. A lot of second effort being shown now by the Seminoles. And trying to get the crowd into it. And this is a good call on defense. Oliver Hoyt, the linebacker, is going to run a little stunt. He's got to make this tackle. This needs to be a tackle for a loss. Steps right over the top of it. Yeah, he's got his pins knocked out a little bit from him. Couldn't finish the tackle, but Leon Washington, of all of the backs, and I know we saw Booker have that great run and Greg Jones so strong. I really like this guy.
You got to be telling your quarterbacks right now, you better get ready, strap it on. This is going to be a full-out shootout. Ricks looks to the corner. PK Sam. Was he in? Touchdown, Florida State.
Little stop-and-go action on Devontae Edwards. PK Sam kind of walks off the line of scrimmage. Edwards peeks into the backfield, and Sam runs right by him.
15-yard touchdown pass. Ricks to PK Sam, the junior from Buford, Georgia. So Beitia comes on for the extra point. And it's good.
Devontae Edwards, a former wide receiver for NC State, bites on the fake. Sam kind of rolls off like he's going to run a hitch, and he stops, goes right by him, and Edwards can't get enough of a hand on him. And let's see if Sam does, in fact. He's tiptoeing. Looked like that left toe was in bounds. Good play by PK Sam, and a really nice throw by Chris Ricks.
Take a look. Did he have possession?
Well, the feet are definitely down.
Yeah, no, that's a good call.
No, he's got it. Really nice call by the official.
Great catch by PK Sam.
And a good throw by Ricks. As hard as we can be on him sometimes, he can put it in some tight spots.
Lamont Reed and Tremaine Hall standing back inside the 5. Number 28, Lamont Reed, will be the one they want to get it to. This will be Reed at the goal line, and he'll bring it out. Reed had a big return the last touch. This is back to the 20. Homecoming in Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Florida State wins. They win in the outright Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. NC State wins. If they win out, they get a share of the title. And Maryland's sitting there watching, thinking they're still alive. Tim Brandt, Ed Cunningham, and Sam Ryan with you. Rivers throws over the middle. He's got a completion and a first down to Cotchery, who's having a terrific game. 6 catches for Cotchery, and they move the chains. Cotchery now with 7 catches.
But so much has been talked about. I remember when Phillip was a freshman and everybody talked. He used to have a little jump throw that he's gotten rid of. But Norm Chow, who was his first offensive coordinator, said, Ed, the ball gets there on time. I'm never going to try to change it.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. All set to start the final 15 minutes in Tallahassee, Doak Campbell Stadium. Tim Brandt, Ed Cunningham, and Sam Ryan with you. Here are the numbers. 34-30, Florida State leads NC State. Trying to close it out. If Florida State wins today, moot point. They win the ACC title outright. They are, in fact, the defending ACC champions. Trying to lock their BCS bowl. NC State needs a win here today and then beat Maryland next week to get a share of the ACC crown. This is Phillip Rivers on second down. He needs 3. Throws over top. He's got it complete. His tight end, T.J. Williams, is down into Florida State territory at the 24. Second down, they need 15. Swing pass, it's thrown behind Hall. Hall breaks a couple of tackles and gets back inside the 20. His 5th catch of the night. So they're spreading the wealth. He is the second leading receiver. Leroy Smith made the tackle.
And Hall, other than the center Jed Paulson and the quarterback Phillip Rivers, has more offensive touches than anybody else on the team. This time again, he lines up basically in the tailback spot, runs a little swing, makes a great catch. It's a little bit behind him. Hall, a Florida guy who took 2.5 years to get everything cleared up, had to go to junior college for a while to come in and help NC State.
Only 3 of 10 in third down conversions. They need one here. It's third down and 5. Rivers to McClendon. McClendon's taken down immediately and he's hurt. He went down awkwardly and he's feeling that tackle. And he's holding that left hand again.
And Rufus Brown, who is filling in for Bryant McFadden, has played a great game. This is a wonderful open field tackle.
T.A. just looked weird going down. Looked like a pretzel.
Watch for B.J. Ward, 42.5-inch vertical jump, 7 blocked field goals in his career.
Adam Kiker from 37 yards out to make it a 1-point game. High snap. Kick is off and no good. Missed to the right. North Carolina State has one of the best long snappers in the game. He'll be an NFL player, but his snap on this one was high. Still a 4-point game after the missed field goal attempt. 12:05 to play. First down, Florida State. After looking at the replay during the commercial break, my partner's jumping all over me saying,
I got to look out for those centers.
Wasn't a bad snap by Danny Young. Greg Jones pulls his way out across the 30-yard line. First down, Florida State. Greg Jones. All right, let's take a look. This is from the blimp.
Danny Young to Chris Young.
Little high and inside.
A little bit, but
threw his timing off.
Got to do, and Kiker short-legged it. That you've got to think maybe it did throw it off a little bit, but not an awful snap from Young. Chris Ricks is completely out of his head. He's just letting the flow of the game go, hitting on that 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th step and letting it go. He's not thinking. He's just letting his massive amount of ability take over.
Under 10 minutes to play. Greg Jones. Just a punishing runner, picks up 6. Let's go downstairs to Sam Ryan. Sam?
Well, Timmy, NC State calls T.A. McClendon their wild card when he's healthy. When he's healthy, the operative words there. They are looking at his left shoulder right now. He's moving it around. They don't know if he's going back at the game, but with T.A., you never know. He's played injured before, guys.
They have to have him.
Without a doubt.
As good as Phillip Rivers is, you can go through the history of football at this level and the next. John Elway needed Terrell Davis before he won a Super Bowl. You have to have a guy like T.A. McClendon, if for any other reason, to make the defense think about it.
But before we get there, the defense needs to stop. This is Washington, and Leon Washington has another first down for Florida State. The Seminoles offense taking over the ball game. Pickup of 12.
And this is all transpiring of how Chris Ricks has gotten himself into a rhythm. He had that interception that was returned by Alan Holloway at the beginning of the game. He was overthrowing some balls were late, but now NC State having to move a few people out of the box.
In the second half.
Really picked up his game.
Play clock down to 6. Gets it off with 1. Washington, a burst of speed. Inside the 10. Leon Washington. Picks up 18 more. Leon Washington, just a sophomore, 5'9", 199. Florida's Mr. Football in high school 2 years ago.
Your fullback has got to be involved. If you're going to run the toss sweep, you've got to get your fullback, and that's such a nice cut block by James Coleman, the fullback, who is in there because B.J. Dean is hurt, and he has been really good at getting out on the edge and knocking guys' feet out from underneath of them.
First down and goal. Greg Jones is your tailback. Out of the eye. Play action, look to the end zone. Intended for Sam and overthrown. Good coverage by A.J. Davis, number 3.
If you are going to play this type of defense that Chuck Amato likes to play, did it here at Florida State. Mickey Andrews and him worked together so well for so many years. You have to recruit lockdown corners, and A.J. Davis, a freshman, would have played last year in camp. He wouldn't have broken his ankle. He's got all this experience he's getting against these type of receivers. Can you imagine him when he's a senior?
Second down and goal. This is Jones to the 6. Good convergence by Hoyt, Thomas, and Holloway.
Well, you know a throw's coming, or at least that or a draw. So the key here for NC State is their linebackers have to trust it, but then be able to get underneath and help out in some kind of coverage, jam up the middle of the field, and force Chris Ricks to look outside where it's a little tougher throw.
But NC State needs to make a defensive stop here and hold him to a field goal. Timing pattern, corner, overthrown. Not even close.
Yeah, you can't throw. If you're going to throw the fade, you can't throw it out of bounds.
So this is huge. A field goal will make it a 7-point game, and NC State still very much alive with 7:23 to play.
I have never been a fan of the fade. And, I mean, you've got a guy over there who was a running back, Willie Reed, for part of this year. They just moved him over this year. It's just a one-shot deal. I just don't like that call.
You see what he's done from 36 and 25. This one will be from 24 yards out for Xavier Bakia. And it's good. And so it's a 7-point game. And still plenty of time for both clubs. Championship game, championship feeling. We'll finish it when we come back. Ready for the final 7:18 of this ball game. Florida State now by a full touchdown, 37-30. How big is that missed extra point by NC State and a field goal?
There's 8 points if you count them up that NC State The 1 on the extra point, the 3 on the field goal, and then remember when they got down inside the 2-yard line, tried McClendon twice in there. Not saying they would have scored had Phillip been given a chance to throw it, but you kind of like your chances not going into the heart of one of the best defenses of the country.
Don't like to give points away on the road. Can't afford it. Still only down by 7. Xavier Bethia prepares to kick off. Lamont Reed had a big return of 50 yards a little while ago. Let's see what he can do here. This one will take him about 4 or 5 yards deep. He'll let it hit. And he'll bring it out for a touchback. T.A. McClendon out of the ball game. Tremaine Hall is in. Rivers under pressure gets it to Cotry. Cotry's got a first down. Terrific play by Philip Rivers. Rivers now 20 of 27. 298 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There are so many things that this young man does so well. His eyes are always downfield. That's one thing scouts are always looking for. What are the things that this young man does? As we break down Philip Rivers, he is so good in the pocket. He has such awareness, but he's always looking down the field when he's moving around. He's got great vision. He sees everything. He has wonderful anticipation, and he gets the ball out. Forget about what it looks like. He gets the ball out in a hurry.
Play clock at 2-1. They just get it off again. Over the middle, he's got the first down. It's complete to Hall. And that's his 6th catch, but what a pass by Philip Rivers under pressure.
And that's the thing, Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, we just saw that animation showing all the things that Philip does so well. And it's his vision. He sees things happen a half a step before most quarterbacks ever even think about letting it go. That time, Stanford Samuels, a corner, was playing underneath, knowing he had safety help. And as soon as Rivers saw Hall coming by, he zipped it on a line the safety couldn't get up there to make the play.
Fans on their feet now. They come with a blitz. They swing it out to Hall. Hall gets inside Florida State territory. Michael Bulware with the tackle. Let's go down to Sam Ryan.
Well, Tim, T.A. McClendon still standing on the sideline. He's been holding his left arm. I told you earlier the trainers were checking out his left shoulder. He did have shoulder problems last year. That's what they were concerned about. He said his left arm, it just feels awkward right now. It keeps locking up. He wants to go back in the game, but they just want to make sure it's loose enough, guys.
All right, Sam.
And Noel Mazzoni right now, the offensive coordinator, calling a great drive with T.A. McClendon out, using his different weapons, Tremaine Hall and Jericho Cotry.
Boy, they're just barely beating the play clock. Oh, what a catch. One-arm catch by Cotry. He'll be 2 yards short of the first. But again, Rivers was being hit, and he gets up limping. 9th straight completion for Philip Rivers. And I mean this one, he waited until the very last second.
Just unbelievable. As good as it gets. Whip route. This guy's a pretty good player, Cotry, isn't he? He's all right.
It brings up 3rd down for the Wolfpack. They need 2. Blitz comes. Here's the throw. Hall's got it. Inside the 20, he's loose. Tremaine Hall. Touchdown, NC State.
Tim, I'm telling you right now, Philip Rivers on a bad left ankle just made one of the best throws I've ever seen in football. Ever. On a bad wheel with nothing there. He's throwing off his back foot with Allen Augustin in his face. How he gets this ball out to Tremaine Hall, I may never know. This is unbelievable by Philip Rivers.
44-yard touchdown. Rivers to Hall.
Got a little quiet in here, didn't it?
10 straight completions
on a bad wheel
for Philip Rivers. Extra point is good, and we are tied at 37. Well, it doesn't get much better than this in college football. A championship atmosphere, 37-37 and 4:06 to play.
Watch this throw. He's running away from pressure. The ball wobbles a little bit, but just unbelievable knowledge of the field. He's on a bad leg. It's a jump throw. Tremaine Hall. And Tremaine Hall does a nice job finishing this. Knowing you're going to get nailed And Allen Augustin comes free right up the middle.
Does anybody read the blitz better?
No.
I mean, he started the season in the Heisman race. He's 72% completion rate. Because his team's not undefeated, you take the Heisman away, you got to put him in that group.
It's hard to argue, Tim, that he wouldn't be one of the outstanding players in college football, which is what that award is titled for. That was an unbelievable. Just knowing exactly where Hall would be set up, but then having the ability to get it out with Pope and Augustin closing down on him.
Rainey's kick is a squib kick, and it's mishandled once or twice. Now let's see the coverage. And there it is. First down, Florida State. Jones is your tailback behind Coleman. Out of the eye. This is Jones. Gets one.
If I'm Bobby right now, I'm talking to my son, Jeff Bowden, my offensive coordinator, saying, make the clock run. I want to get down to the 20-yard line and send out Beitia with no time left on the clock. I have seen enough of Phillip Rivers.
See the time at the top right of your screen. This is Washington. He's got speed. Gets around the corner. Inside the 35. Short of the first down.
You've got to tell those running backs, you're getting towards the sideline. It's clock management. Stay in bounds. If you pick up another 10 yards, the first down, and another 10 or 15 yards, Xavier Beitia has been automatic lately.
Well, that's what Jeff Bowden just signaled there. What are they doing?
Oh, yeah. You do not want to see number 17 from White on the White team come trotting back out with any chance to win this game.
Donnie Carter, the tight end, comes in. Cafonzo Thorpe comes out. Sam goes to the top of your screen. Out of the power eye. Washington shows a burst. He's close to the first down. I don't know if he got it.
Depends on
1:19 to play, and NC State's running out of ticks.
And NC State, they have 2 timeouts. They've got to start planning how they want to use these because they're going to have to use them on defense. Watch this effort by Washington. Good job. Maddox had him dead to rights in the backfield, and Washington uses that little bounce outside. They've got 3 awfully talented running backs, but this number 3, I think he might be the best of the bunch for Florida State. Keep it on the ground.
67 seconds left. First down, throw to the outside. It's complete to Sam. First down. Stops the clock with 56 seconds left.
And now you are in Beitia's range. Edwards bailing, not wanting to get beat on any kind of vertical. Boy, if you're going to play man inside the 25 or 30-yard line, you can't give that much cushion. That's an easy pitch and catch.
Well, you can't do more than Phillip Rivers did today to help your team win. Play clock down to 5. Gives straight ahead to Jones. He's got a big hole. He's inside the 20. Clock continues to move.
Chuck Amato's got to start thinking about using some timeouts. Not here after first down, but after the second down, he's got to start trying to save some time for Phillip Rivers. Otherwise, Xavier Beitia is going to line up for a game winner, and the clock's going to expire.
Play clock continues to move. 34, 33, 32.
Chatted with Beitia yesterday about that miss last year against Miami. He kind of shrugged it off and said it was no big deal, although he went in a slump. He's now out of it.
Jones spins to the 15-yard line. Clock continues to move. 13, 12.
Chuck,
inside
you have to use
10.
a timeout. Chuck, you have to use a timeout.
Down to 5.
Oh, this is it. They're going to waste these timeouts.
Timeout Florida State as Xavier Beitia comes on.
That's their 3rd and 5 timeout of the game.
NC State should have used one of their 2 timeouts there, and then their offense would have gotten a chance. At this point, if Beitia makes it, game's most likely over.
5 seconds left at Doak Campbell Stadium. 37-37 is our score. Xavier Bethia from 32 yards out to try to win the game and give the ACC Championship to Florida State. Good snap, good hold. It's blocked. NC State blocked it. The score stays tied.
Push and jump. That's the whole key.
Here it is again, the block.
Manny Lawson at 71. Derek Morris in the middle with the push. He's a big offensive lineman. You would think it'd be the jumper behind, but Derek Morris, a true freshman, was in there getting the push and got the hands up.
Tied at 37. We'll be back right after this. Tallahassee, Florida is about to see its first ever overtime in this stadium. Xavier Bethia just had his field goal attempt to win the game blocked. We're tied at 37. No time remains on the clock, and we're about to go into overtime. And that man right there, Philip Rivers, has been spectacular. Bobby Bowden did not want to get him back on the field and give him another chance. Florida State out of the eye. First down and goal. Here's the give to Jones inside the 5, down to the 3. Pickup of 2. So David Castillo gets off the field, limps off on his own. You look at the total yards, 478 for NC State, 427 for Florida State. Second down and goal for the Seminoles inside the 5. Tailback is Jones. He's going to lose yardage. Williams got there first. Mario Williams, the true freshman, ranked as one of the top 2 defensive ends in the nation coming out of high school, makes a terrific play here.
And one of those guys who came to school early, actually joined NC State for bowl practice last year. 6'7", he's going to put a lot more weight on that frame. But from the first day of spring practice, he was listed with the first string. Still learning his way around the college game, but this guy has tremendous, tremendous ability.
It brings up a critical third down now for the Seminoles. Third and goal.
Ricks can run. I would try to move him out of the pocket and use some of that ability.
No blitz. Throwing the slant. Thorpe's got it. Touchdown, Florida State. Crifonzo Thorpe. And the Seminoles make their first possession in overtime count.
Who really struggled in the first half. He threw an interception that was returned for a touchdown by a defensive lineman. Has played great in the second half, and that was a wonderful slant throw.
Xavier Bethia's extra point is good. He splits the sticks. And it's a 7-point Florida State lead. Homecoming in Tallahassee. Senior Day. ACC title implications. BCS bowl scenarios. This game has a little bit of everything. And it's taken overtime to settle it. First down, NC State. Philip Rivers, your quarterback. And has to throw it away or take a sack. Great pressure right up the middle by Jeff Wombley.
A lot of contact. A lot of contact. Kendall Pope. Oh, you've got to call that. Ball's in the air. That's pass interference.
That is pass interference.
Every
no
time.
question.
Every time that's pass interference.
So where was the umpire? Incredible numbers for Philip Rivers. But the only ones that count now is he's 0 for 1 in overtime. Second down. Throws a strike. He's got Cotchery. Cotchery's inside the 10 to the 7. Jericho Cotchery picks up 18 yards, and he's got 9 catches in this ball game.
Good read that time by Phillip Rivers as he sees the safety B.J. Ward bail out to help to the middle of the field. And that time, Kadri just sets up between the middle linebacker Augustin and the outside linebacker Boulware. And with the safety bailing, he knew that's where the hole was going to be.
First and goal. Kadri at the top of the screen. Incomplete. It was intended for Richer, and he could not quite get there.
You think NC State would benefit from having T.A. McClendon in the game right now? Guy who made such a difference through 3/4 of the ball game. Injured his left shoulder and has not been able to play since. It's all put all the pressure on Phillip Rivers' shoulders, and he's good enough to handle it. But having number 44 in there right now would be such a bonus for Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, and what he's trying to set up.
The crowd is alive on second and goal. Play clock down to 5. Hall on the swing pass. Inside the 5. Touchdown, NC State.
Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing.
And Hall has been the guy who is a wide receiver, but they can line him up everywhere. With McClendon out of the game, he now lines up where McClendon would be and just runs the swing and has such good open field ability. That time making Rufus Brown miss.
The all-important extra point to tie it and go to a second overtime. And it's good. So tied at 44. We're ready to go to a second overtime. We'll be right back. Ready to head into our second overtime in Tallahassee. NC State and Florida State deadlocked at 44.
And you talked about the ACC and BCS implications. Because Florida State lost to Clemson last week, it opened up the ACC race. NC State and Maryland get in. If NC State wins today, beat Maryland next week, and finish no fewer than 5 spots behind Florida State in the final BCS, they will be the BCS representative for the ACC.
Tied at 44, folks. You mentioned the title implications. You mentioned the bowl scenarios. How about the Heisman implications for Phillip Rivers? Folks, I believe he's got to be considered. If he is not the best quarterback in the land, he's awfully close.
He's at least got to get a plane ticket and a free hotel first week in December.
First down, NC State as we start the second overtime period. Rivers to throw with time. Swing pass. Back to the line of scrimmage. Not more. Tremaine Hall gets back to the line of scrimmage. And that's it. What a night Tremaine Hall is having. 10 catches. He's everywhere. And he's not only played the slot, but he's also played tailback.
Well, he's had to move in.
McClendon went out.
Well, and this is all throw situation now for Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, without number 44 available because of the shoulder injury. Everything falls into the hands of number 17. Jericho,
not a bad place. Kadri goes to the top of the screen. Twins to the bottom. Out of the shotgun. Second down and 10. Rivers on the keeper. He's close to a first down. He'll be just short, but it'll bring up third down and inches. Tremaine Hall slow getting up at the 30.
Well, Hall now playing that tailback position that he's not used to. When he went to take the fake handoff, gets blasted. Good penetration by Dockett. Womble. Good finish of the play by Rivers. That was a play that they ran earlier. Phillip Rivers scored on.
Tremaine Hall goes out of the game, and Reggie Davis comes back in. I don't think Rivers made it.
Nope.
Quarterback sneaky didn't make it. And Kendall Pope comes out with the football.
And Phillip Rivers comes out with a bad ankle. He tweaked his ankle late in the fourth quarter. This is the exact same formation that they ran twice against Ohio State in overtime and did not score after being first and goal in the 5. And Darnell Dockett, with good penetration, stopped Rivers' momentum. And then all the maroon jerseys come swarming in.
You go for a field goal or you go for it on 4th down?
I think
they're going for it.
I'm not happy with 3 points here.
They're going for it.
I think you have to go for it.
4th down in the yard. Tied at 44. Second overtime. 4th down and a long one.
Watch for the bubble screen. Something easy to Cotry in motion here.
Out of the gun. Rivers has pressure. Incomplete. It was intended for Cotry and knocked away by Alan Augustin, who's played a great second half.
And Augustin was questionable with an ankle. They actually told us as late as Thursday that he was not going to play. And the senior former walk-on makes a humongous play. And good coverage early. They tried to get Cotry in motion, and he was going to run a hitch, but it was not there. Watch Augustin as he runs out to his responsibility and then chases Cotry back into the screen, dives and makes a tip right at the last second. An excellent play by Alan Augustin.
Now,
I still like the decision, though, to go for it. And I like the call by Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, with T.A. McClendon out of the game. Let 17 try it.
So here we go. Florida State to win it in the second overtime. 1st down and 10 Noles at the 25. Washington around the corner. Inside the 15 to the 12. Leon Washington, the young sophomore.
And if I'm Bobby Bowden, I'm not sure this is automatic time to kick a field goal. Remember that Savi Adbetia had a field goal blocked at the end of regulation that would have won the game. But I think you leave Leon Washington, try 2 or 3 more runs, see if you can't score 6.
Florida State trying to win the ACC crown outright. The give to Washington. Big hole. Touchdown, Florida State. It's over. Florida State wins it. The Seminoles are the champions of the ACC again. Chuck Amato worked for Bobby Bowden for 18 years. Loves him. Talks to him once daily. But this conversation won't take away the hope that Chuck Amato feels right now.
He's got to be so proud of his team, though. Phillip Rivers, when T.A. McClendon went down, took over this offense and put them in position to try and beat Florida State for the 3rd straight year.
So Florida State wins its 11th ACC Championship in the 12 years it's been a member of this conference. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam Ryan.
He's a great quarterback.
All right, thanks a lot, Timmy. Bobby Bowden, the first overtime game in this stadium. This one for the ACC. What does this one say about your team?
Well, golly, it was just a great football game, one in which we could have lost it. You have to admire their courage going for 4th and 1, because if you don't make it, we're going to beat them, you know. And but it was such a great game, and I never could tell we were going to win it.
Against Chuck Amato, someone who coached here, an assistant with you for 18 years.
Chuck was here 18 years and meant so much to our success.
Now, we spoke about Chris Ricks, your quarterback, at the half. He was ineffective in the first half. You decided to stay with him. Talk about his play in the second half, Bobby.
Well, when we went into half, I called the offense. I said, men, should we change quarterbacks? I mean, I said, we'll be better off going ahead and playing the Fabian. Then if he can't do it, come back with Ricks. And they felt like, no, we ought to go one more shot with him and see if he could see what he would do, and he did good.
And Chris Ricks proved you right.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers on the other side for NC State.
Well, he's finally going to graduate, but he has killed us. He's what a tremendous quarterback he is, you know. We had him beat several times. He just kept bringing them back, bringing them back, bringing them back. He is a tremendous quarterback.
Oh, Bobby Bowden, congratulations, and enjoy this one.
Thank you very much.
Timmy?
All right, Sam. Always like to visit with Bobby Bowden. He's not chasing Joe Paterno anymore. He's at the top of the ladder and going for another title. He gets it here tonight. Florida State 50, NC State 44. For Ed Cunningham and Sam Ryan, I'm Tim Brandt saying so long from Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida.